Hi all, it's Lee the History Boy with a kind of spur of the moment, well, inspired Ruminations video uh, series where I talk about anything from uh, films to games, talk adaptations to series, who would play who, and so on, and sequels and stuff. I mean, but it's not always about that. It's just like things that come to mind that get people potentially discussing stuff. Um, and while I was, because I've been doing a dot to dot um, to give myself a kind of break from screen stuff. Also got on Pluto TV, got it on the Incredible Hulk channel with the late great Bill Bixby, and I did a video about him. Um, and well, the Hulk in general, I suppose, sort of. And one of my fun facts episodes. So I'll put that in as well if you want to watch that. But yeah, the dot to dot picture I'm currently in the middle of finishing now um, is that of a lion, and it's really funny because sometimes I like to put myself in these kind of what if kind of scenarios. I think I've got a bit of a writer's kind of director's brain. I like to think so anyway, and part of that is I imagined a kind of a scenario um, where someone would be arguing that I shouldn't call a lion a he, even though he has a mane. It's a he, and I should just call it because it's an animal. In this case, it's obvious. In that case, it's obvious that um, a lion with a mane is generally male, unless he's like a hermaphrodite or freak of nature kind of lion, genetic mistake or whatever, genetic fault. Because there are I guess you could say anomalies in nature. But it also got me thinking where it's like, are there people out there that say argue about Mother Nature and Father Time? I've never heard people argue that there should be Mother Time and Father Nature. I mean, technically there is actually. There's in the nature bit. Sorry, I'm a bit out of breath. I've got a bit of a cold going on, seasonal cold. But yeah, the I'm not. Yeah, I'm not aware that there's a. I'm into my mythology and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not really aware that there's a mother time. But people would argue that maybe there should be a mother time, or have like a kind of a role swap thing. Um, with Father Nature, but saying that the kind of is already or are fathers of nature kind of things in and Greek mythology maybe, but definitely in Celtic based myths and pre Christian and pre Latin and well and Latin as well. Latin and Grecian kind of nature myths cross over into Celtic beliefs. Because, for example, there's a woodland god that yeah that can be described as, I guess, the father of the woods, the guardian of the woods, usually dressed in is sometimes he's depicted with hooves and horns, and sometimes he's depicted in wearing like the pelt of a stag and painted in wood in blue paint. And then there's a chiefly villagey English ancient myth called the Green Man, who can be arguably known as the father of springtime because he goes into hibernation or dies and then comes back to life, wakes up again when it's spring. So I suppose he, in a sense, is Father Nature. He's more English centralised, whereas the other one I was referring to, Kununos, is very broad, goes all the way from Ireland to even like the woods of Belgium. So like maybe the Gauls worshipped him, but he, I guess, is some kind of Father Nature type thing. But I've never heard anyone argue about, oh, there should be a Mother Time, even though there might be, as far as I know. But it just occurred to me that people probably don't argue about metaphysical things apart from maybe Mother Nature. So yeah, little ruminations thing there. So yeah, that's basically it.